what if the Lord of the Rings happened in 2020? Would they be destroying the ring, or... Oh, and might I mention, if you thought I was joking at the start, no, this is what we're watching. What if the Lord of the Rings happened in the modern day? Crazy trip. Don't forget the crazy trip part. That is the best part about the Infographics show. I love how the top comment is, what is the writer smoking? Nothing I want.
You're not ashamed to admit it. You're a simple type of fella living in a simple type of town in the hinterlands of the U.S. There's nothing in this world you enjoy more than to get together with the townsfolk, quaff a bucket full of ale.
No, I'm an introvert. I can't say that. Oh, sorry guys, don't want to offend someone.
Stop bullying!
And be merry. These parties go on from night until morning, and the skies come alive with the most amazing firework displays. But
yeah, if you're a stupid dum-dum,
something happens to you that will change your life forevermore. You're gonna receive a ring, and with that ring, you're gonna hit the cities. You're gonna get into crazy battles, and you're gonna
hit the cities. I too remember when Frodo, he hit those cities. He saw the Prancing Pony. He hit that. If someone is taking this out of context for my subreddit. By the way, shameless plug, subreddit, Our Brain Reacts. I need to do a reaction to that because I haven't, and I said I would like a year ago.
Risk life and limb. That ring has power. And of course, you desire power, like all men do. Hell is about to break loose.
Hey, how dare you assume my gender? I'm an attack helicopter. That's a dead meme, but it's not dead because I said it's not dead. Trust me.
On another particular night of merrymaking, a white bearded friend of yours turns up to the party. His name is Alf, and he looks as old as time, but he's a decent guy, even if he goes missing from your life for long periods. You've got your uncle at least, and while he also does disappearing acts now and again, he's usually reliable. So anyway, the party is in full flow when your uncle
have an uncle who does disappearing acts too.
You might be old enough to fend for
JK, that's
yourself
my
these days,
dad.
but since you never had much parental guidance in your life, you don't take this news well. I'm going on an adventure, your uncle says. And the first thing you wonder is if he's just drunk or has shacked up with some woman somewhere. And that's it.
What kind of... Seriously, what is the writer doing? I remember the Infographics show a couple years ago, and they would make cool history videos, and now it's this. Where his trip to Alabama went really wrong. Oh my gosh, I just realized how hot it is in here. The webcam is fogging up. It's like 100 degrees in here. Oh.
Real bummer of a night if Alf hadn't come to you and given you a gift. A rather expensive looking gold ring. Man, the thing feels so
expensive
powerful
looking.
Holding it in your hands, and you'll soon come to know why. The last thing Alf has to say to you kind of shocks you. He tells you, there's nothing for you here. Get out of this place and go find yourself in the world. You think, well, if everyone else is skipping off on adventures, then why not me? You get the guys together and take off in that old station wagon. You get the boys. Me and the boys at 6 o'clock at night, traveling the station wagon to wherever Mordor's going to be, probably in the Middle East, or Hawaii, or for that fact, Australia. By the way, while you're worrying about your... I'm not going to say it because the last video got removed from by YouTube. Thanks for that. All I did was an updates video. Australia is still on fire, I think. I don't know. I'm not smart. Your uncle never used, and you don't look back. It's time to hit the cities. To those places you've heard about where crime is rife and where people work 16 hours a day in smoky factories. Much you stand out with your country clothes and strong accent and a car that has no right to be on the road. At the first city you come to, you're at the stoplights and a bunch of men in hoodies. Their faces totally obscured, but you swear you see devilish red eyes. Order you to get out of the car. Is this a carjacking, you wonder? One of those things
oh, it's GTA. Oh gosh.
But you get out and you soon discover it's not the beat-up car they want. Why is there Grand Theft Auto level stuff, and why is there no stars? Clearly Frodo's committing the crime, or whatever your name is. Clearly, you're the one committing the crime here, because that's how the world works. But that ring of yours, you think, this thing must be worth a fortune. Even though you're scared out of your mind, all you can think about is how much you could get for that thing at a pawn shop. At a pawn shop? Seriously? Don't you get like half value? Weird, to say the least. These guys start beating the hell out of your buddies, and one of them goes for your ring. Your reaction is just to slip the thing onto your finger, and then the most amazing thing happens.
I too, when someone is about to steal something of mine, I too just like to use it. I'm gonna steal that computer, it just boots it up and starts playing Minecraft. I too like to do that, but that's just my personal opinion. You can do whatever you like with your life.
Happens in a roadside bar the following night. You're shooting some pool with your buddies and minding your own business when this
Shooting some pool with your buddies. That is not something you want to say.
monster of a man just starts attacking you for no good reason at all. That ring is in your pocket again, but you just know this guy wants it. You slip it back on and boom, that troll of a guy is destroyed.
Game end.
Your friends think that this is a pretty neat trick that you have, but the thing is, every time you get this superpower, it takes something out of you. They're now looking at the ring when you take it out, ogling over it like a dog salivating over an 8-ounce piece of steak. The bar that night and start walking to your car, and this skinny little wretch that hasn't aged well, has like 6 strands of comb-over hair, starts trying to get friendly with you. He sidles up to you
Sup,
and
Smeagol?
like a tweaker in the midst of psychosis, he
Oh
starts
my
talking about the
gosh.
precious thing he wants. I don't have any drugs, you bark at him. Go harass someone else. It's not the last time you see this emaciated creep of a man. You later meet a guy that knows a guy
Who knew this guy? Who knew this guy? Who knew this guy? Who knew this guy? Who knew this guy?
who told him that this man is called Cullum, and he used to
Oh,
be a stand-up person.
Cullen,
Then
Rolls
one day
Royce
he just
Cullen,
hit
and
the
that's
streets
what
and
he
wasn't
drives.
seen for
Smart
years.
joke.
Another casualty of the drug epidemic, you thought when the guy told you that. You're in bed that night at a cheap motel you found, and you can't
Gollum, or I'm just gonna call him Gollum. Screw it. You know what he should have done? You know that drug PSA where they're like singing, drugs, drugs, drugs.
sleep for thinking about what you should do with that ring. You could pawn
Eat
it,
it.
and you must say, the craftsmanship is second to none. But then someone else would get the power you now have. On the one hand, you want to retain that power, and on the other, things could turn nasty if someone without your unblemished ethics got a hold of it.
Die gesamte Generalität ist nichts weiter als ein Haufen niederträchtiger Treuloser.
It seems to you that a lot of bad folks know about it, which makes you paranoid enough to believe you're intertwined.
Why would they make the knocking sound that realistic? I swear someone is outside my window trying to break in and murder me.
Government conspiracy. That probably means the FBI are after you, or even the CIA. You know what's right.
Maybe
Take
even the
it outside.
KGB.
And at that moment, wrestling with your thoughts the next day over a plate of grits and biscuits when you see the most beautiful, perhaps the most beautiful trio of women walk past
The
restaurant
most-
window. It suddenly
When
hits you.
did this
When you
happen
put
in the
that ring
movie?
on, it caused a lot of destruction. You also disappear. The dark thought crosses your mind.
Oh my gosh. What is this? What infographic show?
Keeping Tom's sort, but if you could sneak into a bank and just help yourself to part of the vault, all that money is federally insured, right? Your guy again, and this time he just outright attacks you. For a moment, he gets his hand on the ring and mutters, "It's mine, my own, it's mine, my own, my precious."
And then you
No, it's not,
viciously
he
beat
replies.
him.
You swipe it from his malnourished hands. "What is it with you in this ring?" you shout. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, your old friend Alf appears. He tells you that this guy
Alf.
Cullum had gotten addicted to the ring's power and even killed his buddy over it. To your surprise, Alf and
I too remember that scene in the movie where he just blinks. He's Smeagol. He was Smeagol, and then he's Gollum, and he's pushing his friends out of the boat. I remember that scene like the back of my hand.
all bad people want it because it can dominate all life. For thousands of years, people have been dying over that ring, and you need to get rid of it.
What? I know it's just an animation, but this is... That's definitely how I fight. I just bonk someone on the head.
Called the
Doom Brothers.
One of the brothers, called Simon, is still alive, and he's been looking to get the ring back. Like, he really wants it back. Alf tells you that the road to the refinery is fraught with disaster, but if you don't destroy the ring, it'll pretty much lead to
Did they just cram in a Wizard of Oz reference with the Emerald City?
That's awesome.
One thing you find out is that when one of your buddies grabs the ring while you're driving toward Detroit, it doesn't give the car a cloak of invisibility, but it turns that old piece of junk into what looks like an expensive Mercedes driven by some government official. You aren't happy about letting someone else wear the ring, But it is good to get through some neighborhoods not looking like a washed-up Walton family lost on vacation.
So
You
now
spend the
you're
last
just a
evening before
bigger
you reach the Doom
target.
Brothers watching TV news in a motel. More war, you think, as you watch drone strikes and raging tanks and clashing soldiers. You decide that it's best not to just walk up to Doom Brothers and ask Simon if you can destroy his work of art. So you sneak around the back to where the smelting area is. You watch as the flames tickle the air,
And
the
then
smoke
he bites your
reaches the
finger
sky
off.
in thick plumes. That's where the ring will go, back into the belly of the beast. It's
Belly of the
in some respects, and you
beast.
expected to hear a lot more of those overworked, disgruntled employees. You get to the edge of the smelting pit, and it looks like a volcano, both mesmerizing and frightening at the same time. Suddenly, Cullum is behind you, and he's gonna have a last shot at reclaiming the ring. If you're not careful, you're gonna fall into that lava, and so you slip on the ring. Oh, it still feels good to have it on. But Cullum can somehow
Oh, it's
see you,
all
even though you thought you'd be
buddy.
invisible there. And both you fall over the ledge into the pit. Unfortunately for Cullum, he ends up in the lava, and you get helped out by your buddy. That was a close one, that's for sure. You dust yourself off, and the first thing you
And now
realize
the
is you
building
want to be
goes
back
boom,
with the
boom.
townsfolk. Sipping on ale and eating homemade food under the shadow of the moon. The middle of nowhere ain't such a bad place to be when you've got your friends. You remember something your Uncle Alf once said to you. He that breaks a thing to find out what it is has left the path of wisdom.
Yes, I too like to just see something, break it, and then call myself a stupid person. I too do that.
He was
That's
right
a
about that.
fantastic
Your
quote,
finest
man.
hour was being
That's
reacquainted
top
with
10 of the
ones you
decade,
loved
or of the
and thought
century,
you'd lost.
or of
If you
the
enjoyed this
past 2
hypothetical tale
centuries.
and want to know more
Long
about how to
time.
save the world, have a look at this video, How to Defend Earth Against an Alien Invasion.
Man,
Attention commercial property owners. Do you own or
Is the
manage
video
a
over?
building with an old flat?
that was it. That was the video. If you enjoyed my return to YouTube, like this. If you didn't enjoy my return, like this. If you hate me, like this. If you love me, dislike this. I want to see how I want to see it. I mean, it's a win-win, basically. I already know what the answer's going to be. I'm going to get a bunch of likes, which is good. But that also means nobody loves me. It's kind of a win-win, to be honest. I don't know what I'm saying. To do the outro thing with Connor saying, or Max Mario, sorry, saying Bazinga.